08 CR 24940, the State of Ohio versus Antonio Cabrera. Ms. Nicholson, the court has received a nollie signed by Assistant Prosecuting Attorney Steve Knippen.
Your Honor, we'd ask the court grant that nollie.
Anything else for the record?
I do not have anything else.
All right, then the court will grant that nollie. Is Mr. Cabrera in custody?
My computer is restarting, so I will check and let Mr. Logston know if that's an issue.
All right, if he's in custody, he's to be released immediately. All right, thank you. Are you ready?
Yes, Your Honor.
Case number 25CR43270, the State of Ohio versus Joshua Fritz. Mr. Fritz is before the court with his counsel, Mr. Villegas. Ms. Nicholson, on behalf of the State of Ohio, we're here for sentencing. There was a pre-sentence investigation that was completed. Has everyone had an opportunity to review that?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right, anything on behalf of the state?
Your Honor, we'd ask you adopt the agreed recommended sentence of 36 months total in prison. There are 0 days of jail time credit.
Anything from probation? Mr. Villegas?
Your Honor, just in statements of mitigation, that being, sure. Mr. Fritz is just 31 years old. Prior to this, having no felony record or conviction, he is a dedicated father.
We'll do Mr. Center's case first.
And son. In addition to our arguments in our sentencing memorandum, I'd like to just bring to the court's attention that Mr. Fritz, when confronted with what had occurred, he only told the truth to the investigators. He admitted what he had done and why. The why was preparing for a family, having money issues, not to fuel any sort of addiction or to settle some sort of debt. But those reasons don't change what occurred, but it puts into perspective why a young man with no record prior to this ends up with the felony conviction. He was enlisted previously in the military, but due to present matter had to abandon that. But just want to acknowledge an honorable thing to do is to defend our country. So I applaud him for that. Mr. Fritz intends to make use of his time, and at the time, have the court consider a judicial release at the appropriate time. Would ask the court that in consideration of the plea agreement, as well as the financial status of Mr. Fritz currently, we'd ask the court not to instill a fine at this time.
I want to start by thanking you for the time to speak today. I want to begin by taking full responsibility for my actions. I will not excuse what I did. I violated the trust that was placed in me, and I failed to uphold the standards expected of me, both professionally and personally. What I did was wrong, and I accept full accountability for the harm I caused to the institution I served, to my coworkers, to my family, and to the community. At the time, I was under heavy financial and mental pressure. I was going through a separation and was seeking to finance a divorce, while also trying to provide consistently for my daughter from that relationship and prepare for my newborn son, who was on the way with my current partner. My girlfriend had lost her job and had been unemployed for a few months leading up to my offense, which made me the sole provider of our household. And I also took on helping cover her debt to our home after she moved from Obetz, Ohio, to live with me. The cost of living had been unforgiving, and bills were constantly overdue and piling, leaving me overwhelmed and struggling to keep up with them. I have always had a habit to try to shoulder everything on my own rather than ask for help. And during that time, that mindset made things worse. Instead of reaching out for better solutions to help navigate through these pressures, I chose to continue trying to carry everything alone. I did try to make extra income the right way, door dashing, signing up for overtime when it was available, but those opportunities were not always guaranteed or consistent in my case. And behind those efforts, I made a serious mistake. I chose to engage in unlawful conduct by bringing contraband into the facility. Something I would have never imagined myself doing, ever. But I did. And I take full responsibility for it. I allowed desperation, stress, anxiety, and poor judgment to guide me. And I deeply regret that choice. Since the time of that regrettable decision, however, I have taken proactive and positive steps to change direction in my life. During the fall of 2025, I enlisted in the United States Navy because I desired structure, discipline, and a way to rebuild myself with integrity and to atone for the mistake I made. I wanted to commit myself to something greater and began correcting the path I had taken. During boot camp, I was taught the Navy's core values of honor, courage, and commitment. I was also selected as the Master at Arms for my division, Division 076. That responsibility required accountability, leadership, and discipline, qualities I am now working to fully live by every day. My daughter and my son are my biggest motivation to continue to be better. I want to be present in their lives, to provide for them honestly and consistently, and to set an example that they can be proud of. I regret deeply that my actions have put that at risk and caused pain to the people I care about and to my community. Your Honor, I respectfully ask for leniency in my sentencing. I am asking for probation, community control sections so that I can remain an active provider and present father in my children's lives, as I have been since my return from boot camp in January. I am not asking to avoid consequences. I accept them. I am asking for the opportunity to continue moving forward, to support my family, and prove through my actions that this mistake does not define who I am as a man. Thank you for your time.
Thank you, Mr. Fritz. Mr. Fritz, you do understand that at the time that you entered your plea, Mr. Villegas has done an excellent job in getting this negotiated down to an offense that was not mandatory prison. You understand that?
Yes, Your Honor.
However, when someone enters into a plea bargain of this nature, where they're going from a mandatory prison sentence to one that is discretionary, but yet there's a recommendation that the state is making this amendment on the condition that you be sent to prison, at least for some period of time. The benefit to you is, whatever your sentence is, I don't have to keep you in prison for that entire sentence. So it puts judicial release on the table. And that's what's been negotiated by your attorney, and that's what I intend to do. You understand that?
Yes, Your Honor.
So even though you're eligible for community control, you're not going to get community control because that's part of the plea bargain process. Had you not accepted this plea bargain, then whatever number I selected today to send you to prison for, you would be required to serve that entire prison sentence. Now, you have the opportunity to pay the consequences of your misdeed and then to get out much earlier than you would have otherwise. Do you understand that?
Yes, Your Honor.
You're not getting community control today, okay? The court has considered the statements made here today, the purposes and the principles of sentencing, their relevant seriousness and recidivism factors. The court has reviewed the sentencing memorandum of the defendant and the pre-sentence investigation. The court has also considered the agreed recommended sentence of the parties and finds it to be an appropriate sentence. So I'm going to order you on count 1 to serve 36 months in prison, on count 2, 12 months in prison, and count 3, 12 months in prison. Counts 2 and 3 to be served concurrent with count 1. You have 0 days jail time credit. The court will find that you're indigent for the purpose of any fines, costs, or other financial sanctions. You're also subject to a discretionary period of post-release control, which means that if you serve out your sentence, the adult parole authority may supervise you for up to 2 years. If you violate that supervision, the adult parole authority can return you to prison for up to 1/2 of this court's sentence. If your violation is that you commit another felony, you can be returned to prison for 1 year or the period that you have left on PRC, whichever is longer, and that time would run consecutive to any additional prison time that you get sentenced to. There may be opportunities for you to receive up to 1 day per month for participating in certain education, vocation, or other programs sponsored by the Department of Corrections. You do have a right to appeal the court's decision of your sentence to the 12th District Court of Appeals. If you want to appeal, you must file your notice of appeal within 30 days of today's date. If you can't afford to pay for the transcript or anything necessary for your appeal, that can all be provided to you at no cost. If you cannot afford an attorney, I will appoint one for you at no cost. Do you have any questions for me before I give my final thoughts?
There's no way.
Again, here's the problem. I understand what you want, and again, your attorney fashioned this plea bargain so that you were agreeing that I was going to send you to prison. But my final thought is that you don't have to stay in prison for 36 months. You see, had you been convicted of the original charge, whatever number I selected to send you to prison for, whether it was 12 months, 24 months, 36 months, whatever that number was, you would be required to serve that entire time. Do you understand that? Now, I certainly appreciate family and friends being here to support you. And again, it breaks my heart because you're not the type of person that I expect to see in my courtroom. That being said, there is hope at the end of this. Hopefully, you have learned an invaluable lesson for the rest of your life that there are no shortcuts. You can't take shortcuts even to make a buck here or there. You want to provide for your family. I support that. I will consider you for judicial release after you've served 6 months because that's what the agreed recommended sentence was. Okay? So when you go up there, you keep your nose clean, you keep to yourself, you stay out of trouble, you follow the rules of the institution wherever they send you, you behave yourself, no write-ups, and then 6 months, Mr. Villegas will file a motion for judicial release, and if all of those things happen, it's my full intention to grant that motion and to release you into community control. We understand each other. Okay. Ms. Nichols, is there anything else?
No, Your Honor.
Mr. Villegas, is there anything else, sir?
No, Your Honor.
All right, Mr. Fritz, best of luck to you. Right now, there's a deputy standing behind you. He's going to take you into custody. You are remanded into the custody of the Warren County Sheriff for transport to the Department of Corrections, and I will see you in about 6 months. Dina, there's even an exhibit behind you.
Today's courtroom scene is something you don't see every day. A father and son are standing inside a serious courtroom hearing where tensions are already high. The atmosphere is heavy, and everyone in the room is focused on the judge's decision. This case is about accountability and consequences. The accused individuals are being presented before the court, and the judge is reviewing the situation very carefully. As the hearing begins, the court officers remain alert, ensuring everything is under control. The father and son appear calm on the outside, but the seriousness of the situation is clearly visible on their faces. The judge listens to all the details and arguments. Every word spoken in the courtroom carries weight, because this is not just a normal case. It's about discipline, law, and responsibility. As the discussion continues, the judge makes it clear that the court will not tolerate any wrongdoing. The message is firm and direct. The law must be respected, no matter who stands in front of it. That's where the famous moment comes in. The courtroom delivers a strong and strict judgment atmosphere. which is why the phrase, "no mercy" from Judge becomes the highlight of this entire scene. It represents that the court has made a serious decision, and there will be no leniency in this matter. The father and son remain present as the decision unfolds, showing how powerful and emotional courtroom situations can become when justice is being served. In the end, this scene reminds us of one important thing. The law is always above everything, and every action has consequences. That's it for today's courtroom story. Stay tuned for more real-life dramatic court moments.